Oh, Kim. 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 Oh, Kim. It's 10:30.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Providence, where we love beyond belief. Welcome to our special service today, led by Reverend Jean Disluski, on how Unitarians and other faith communities are called to act to reduce gun violence. Reverend Jean has brought with him some guests that are going to help us with the service today, and that's a wonderful treat. Reverend Jean is the pastor of the Lime Rock Baptist Church in Lincoln. He's the community minister here at First U, and he's the president of the Rhode Island State Council of Churches. He's a religious leader and community activist that we know quite well in this community, and today he will preach on being the peace we wish to see in the world. Following the service, just to get you all warmed up, the legislative ministry team is inviting the congregation to join in a letter-writing campaign in the parish house. This is the day we have been given. May we make the very most of it. Join me in saying the chalice lighting words found in your order of service.
This light burns
Also in our hearts, and it lights our path
toward harmony, justice, and hope for all.
It's me again. Oh, excuse me, it's not me again.
It's the invocation time. To invoke the Spirit of life, the source of all, I bring the words present from Maya Angelou, I believe, although I really heard them from Oprah, which is, when we know better, we do better. Hopefully today's service is going to teach us to know better and help us to do better. Let the service begin.
Now it's me again. This is our time for greeting one another, and I must say that it's looking very, it's great to see all these faces here in the meeting house. If you're returning, if you're new, we welcome you. We welcome our guests. We hope everyone is able to join together in our service today. And we'd like to ask everyone now to stand in your places, take a look around, wave to friends, greet each other as we would do every Sunday. Yep. And now, keep greeting people, but now just want everybody to take a look back towards the camera up next to the organ and wave to those of us who are celebrating from home. We're happy to see you guys too, or so to speak, and wish everyone a good day. Thank you.
Please read with me the covenant of the First Church Unitarian in Providence. We, the members of the First Unitarian Church of Providence, with respect for the worth and dignity of each person, with wonder at the light we know by many names, and with gratitude for our deep connection to each other and to the larger web of existence, covenant to walk together in our search for truth, seeking the paths of wisdom, compassion, and justice. This is the time for sharing the joys and sorrows of our congregation. And I'm in a really good mood this morning. It feels so good just to be greeted by the sun again. It feels like it has been so long. And this is a secret. Can't tell anybody. I hear that starting next week, we're going to return to hymn singing in the congregation. So I'm really happy that the choir just sang that hymn The second verse was penned by my friend and teacher, the Reverend Eugene Navius. So it always brings me joy to remember him. And speaking of music, many of you sent in candles of joy, of gratitude to Beth Armstrong for bringing the Morehouse College Glee Club here last Wednesday night. It truly was a spectacular event. Great joy for that. A candle of joy for my daughter Rachel, who has just turned 23 and landed a new job she really worked hard for. Congratulations and good luck to Rachel. A candle of concern for our partner church in Transylvania, which is about 400 kilometers from the Ukraine border. May they know peace during this dreadful conflict. A candle of concern and healing for Sina Pounder as she deals with a new diagnosis of Meckel cell carcinoma. A candle of healing and care for Barbara Westlake as she undergoes a medical procedure this week. A candle is lit for Mary Kohler and Graham Nye. May we see them soon. You may know they are both recovering at home with cancer. A candle of sympathy for Lucille Riccatelli, who just lost her cousin, John Pelosi, at only age 50 yesterday. A candle of sympathy to the Greeley family for the loss of my good friend, Patricia Greeley, who died yesterday at age 92. I want to invite us now into a time of meditation and prayer. When we end the meditation and we go into the time of silence, I want to remind you that if you've lost someone this year, you are welcome to stand with us in the silence or raise your hand if that's more comfortable. To begin, we're going to relax. Get ready to meditate. Let our shoulders drop. Feel the seats beneath us. Become present to the room you're in. Please take a deep breath with me. And again. And one more. Today's meditation are the words of Gwendolyn Brooks. That time, we all heard it like a shot, cool and clear, cutting across the hot grit of the day. The major voice, the adult voice, foregoing rolling river, foregoing tearful tale of bale and barge, and other symptoms of an old despond. Warning in music words, devout and large, that we hear each other's harvest. We are each other's harvest. We are each other's business. We are each other's magnitude and bond. We each other's, and quite fragile. Do handle with care. Amen.
A reading, a reflection by Mr. Rogers. When I say it's you I like, I'm talking about that part of you that knows that life is far more than anything you can ever see or touch or hear. That deep part of you that allows you to stand for those things without which humankind cannot survive. Love that conquers hate, peace that rises triumphant over war, and justice that proves more powerful than greed. Fred Rogers.
Good morning. The next section of the program, I would like to introduce Scott Lampum, Diana Garlington, and Christian Fernandez. They are neighbors, activists, friends, and witnesses, and have come to share stories with us.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for allowing us to be here today. Again, my name is Diana Garlington. I come to you today to let you know that in 2011, I lost my child. Her name was Essence Crystal. She was shot and killed in a drive-by shooting. As I took the time to grieve, I tried to find a way to figure out what I needed to do in my community to make change when it came to gun violence. So what I did is I started an organization which is called Safer Communities for Justice. And what that consists of is to help our community and to help our families get some sort of solace and justice for our families. As of this time in our community of Providence, we have 135 unsolved murders. As I said earlier, my path now is to continue to fight and try to combat this violence that we suffer in our communities. Alongside Scott Lapham from One Gun Gone, Sydney Monstream, which I am a board member of the Rhode Island Coalition Against Gun Violence, and I am the survivor membership lead for Moms Demand Action. So once again, thank you so much, and I appreciate you for having me today.
Good morning. The reason I'm here today thank you for patience. The reason I'm here today is in part because of the 5 people that I've lost to gun violence in my life. When I was a teenager, we lost my stepbrother. Part of the reason this is challenging for me right now is I've not spoken about it publicly to this many people. My stepfather passed in April of 2021, and we never spoke about it. I never felt I had permission to speak about it. With his passing, I spoke with my stepsisters, and they gave their blessing to speak about. Their brother. Since that time, I've lost 4 of my students to gun violence. We lost Jacob, Eric, Vinny, and Dougie. These were all folks that I knew, worked with, and it's the single leading cause of death in my life is gun violence. And it's avoidable. And by bringing awareness to it, with the challenges that that entails, we have the ability to understand and to work against gun violence. And I am honored to be here with you and to be here with Diana and Christian. And I want to thank you for listening to my story. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Diana. Thank you.
We just would like to leave you with our children are not just numbers. They were born and they were given names. Dennis A. Cabrera Hector Perez, Jesus Caban, John Hyman, Angel Cruz, Kenneth Kilgore, Benjamin DeWillis, Omar Gomez, Diogenes Ramos, Donnie Smith, Eric Price, Jay Robinson, Tyrone Collins, Hani Zaki, Peter Adorno, Donald Kuwit, Joseph Hector, Louis Bruno, Ernest Tucker, Sigfredo Alcaran, Jacob Delgado, Manuel Rodriguez, Vaughn Thompson, Jamal Perry, Jamal Bailey, Gabriel Delgado, Jermaine Ellis, Dean Smith, Chewy Chowan, Glenn Rivera, Anthony Mitchell, Arletus Tangriff, Albert Burney, Rafael Dias, Dion Robinson, Carlos Mendoza, John Smith, Roy Weber, Deborah Tyrell.
James Benavides, Nelson Ayala, Bradley Finn, Eileen Kramer, Nancy Souza, Michael Sansosi, Jonathan Hernandez, Emmanuel Furman, Dwayne Sampson, Sean Isom, Fernando Ventura, Dennis Hayes, Tonya Sims, Johnny Jimenez, Arthur Orling, Matthew Sir, Gladys De Viller, James McLaughlin, William Garcia, Kendall Marshall, Manuel Lugo, Vidal Rodriguez, Luis Abreu, Junie Johnson, Nathan Davis, Michael Holston, Angel Vargas, Michael Fortes, Milo Martinez, Charles Joyner, Randy German, Rafael Hernandez, David Thomas, Domingo Ortiz, Eugene Briggs, David De La Cruz, Francisco Mendez, Kevron Poston, Timothy Kilgore, Ruben Lopez.
Lamar Trisvan, Andy Luna, Ernesto Juarez, Zachary Marshall, Jason Rolon Ortiz, Anthony Stone, Steve Latimer, Derek Taylor, Pablo Segura, Daniel Thompson, Essence Crystal, Joe Figueroa, Renee Urena, Juan Correa Cintron, Devon Young, David Hollis, Robert Ballou, Omar Polanco, Joe Wills, Sandy Fanabula, Wesley Smith, Dimitri Todd, Tyler Merchand, Jose Sanchez, Josu Harney, Aretha Beard, Michael Camacho, Luis Padilla, Johayo Dos Santos, Dimitri Lacan Perry, Roberto Denson, Carlo Rivera, Abelardo Martinez, Raham Alves, Dylan Dos Santos, Matthew Scott Muirhead, James Goddard III, Dulamitri Suanati, Christian Pena, Jamal Cortieras, Jason Gonzalez, Jared Taylor, Freddie Tola, Adrian Jarrell Shepard, Sol Perez. Thank you very much.
Thank you, friends. That unquestionably was a very somber moment. My sense is, and I really believe, that when it comes to an issue like violence, there is nothing, no preacher could be articulate enough. A witness is far more powerful a messenger for us to appreciate, to feel, and to understand. So thank you very much. Good morning. I'm the Reverend Gene Dishlevsky. I'm the community minister here at First Unitarian. And, you know, I'm able to come into the pulpit once a year because I also, my regular Sunday work is I'm pastor of Lime Rock Baptist Church. So actually today, as we speak, I am, through the magic of telecommunications, I'm doing 2 services at the same time in 2 different pulpits. Go figure. But I have to say that, you know, as somebody who's been in a Baptist pulpit for a while, I'm used to people hollering out amen now and again. So, you know, if you're in the mood, have at it. It's okay. But I'm given this privilege once a year during legislative season. And I'm happy to be here to share a few thoughts and actually to do a call to action. And I do this because this congregation has been a champion of social justice for centuries, actually going back to our very beginning. This congregation was involved with abolition. This congregation was a sanctuary church, not just recently, but one of the sanctuary churches in Providence during the Underground Railroad period. The women's suffrage groups met in these pews. And on and on. I don't want to go through everything. There's civil rights and human rights and voting rights. And the one campaign that is near and dear to my heart, because I was here with you for that, was this congregation was the center of the legislative campaign for marriage equality. So we go on. Thank you. I agree. Now, there are a lot of social justice issues that are asking us for attention. And we have a core belief in the worth and dignity of everyone. We are we thinkers. We see people as humans are relational beings, right? We're all connected. There's a power to that and a motivation to that to address a whole array of social justice issues. Currently, now it's important to focus, right? So our current focus is on gun safety issues. And I'm going to hand the mic over to someone who is much better equipped to help us focus, and that's Sydney Monstring-Quass, who is the chair of the Rhode Island Coalition Against Gun Violence.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Reverend Jean, for inviting me here today to present about gun violence prevention. But before I get started, I want to acknowledge that today, March 13th, is a really significant day. And it was 2 years ago today that my daughter, a senior in high school, came home from school and the schools shuttered and then we went on lockdown. So in my head, March 13th is always a hard day. And I want to acknowledge the challenges we've all experienced during this pandemic. So I need to take a breath. But let's have a moment of silence for the loss, the fear, everything that we've experienced in these last couple of years, and hope that, like today, is a brighter day and that things will improve from here. So let's take a moment and acknowledge that. Thank you. It actually feels wonderful to be here, and like Scott recognized, the last time I spoke in public was 2 years and 2 days ago when we were supposed to have a judiciary hearing that day in the State House regarding our gun violence prevention bills. But the State House announced that day that all hearings were canceled. I was called by TV stations to be interviewed about what I thought about that and where we were going with this. So it's wonderful to be here in person and actually addressing people face to face. So thank you all. As Reverend Jean said, I am the board chair of Rhode Island Coalition Against Gun Violence. I'm also one of the founding members of that organization. And we were founded in 2013 as a coalition of organizations, activists, advocates, survivors, educators, legislators, and community members who look at gun violence as a public health issue. We utilize the collective power of our members and advocates to advance policies that will reduce gun violence, resulting in safer, healthier Rhode Island communities. We have more than 100 partnering organizations. We're grateful for our partnership here with the Rhode Island State Council of Churches and the First Unitarian Church, who were some of our very first partners. Our first Sandy Hook Memorial Vigil, held in 2013, called No More Silence, was here in this space. And during that event, your very own Kim Ziegelmeyer rang the church bells for 1 minute in memory of the people who had died at Sandy Hook. We've also hosted subsequent vigils and events in this space, so we're really grateful for this partnership. Some of our other partnering organizations include One Gun Gone, who Scott is representing today. Diana has multiple organizations that she has founded that we partner with. We also partner with Everytown for Gun Safety, Giffords, Moms Demand Action, Planned Parenthood, Rhode Island Now, League of Women Voters, Guns into Plowshares, and lots of other organizations who come together collectively to collaborate to push for safer communities. And I also want to recognize that as an organization, we recognize that systemic racism contributes to gun violence, especially in Black and brown communities. And we work to assure that our daily efforts contribute to inclusion. Assuring that people of color are engaged in our planning and decision-making is critical for successful gun violence prevention efforts. So as an organization, we have helped, since 2013, pass 5 gun safety bills in this state. It might not sound like a lot, but they're really critical bills. And as some of you know, when you're advocating for change, particularly on the policy level, it takes a long time. When we started, people told us, oh, it might take 10 years to pass a bill. And I have to say, like for me, and I hadn't been involved in legislative action before that, I was horrified. I couldn't believe that I was hearing that. Yet several of the bills that we're pushing for this year, this will be our 10th year that we're pushing for them. I would not have believed that back when we started this work, but it is our reality. But hence, I'm all the more grateful for the bills that we have passed. The first bill we passed was the Protect Rhode Island Families Act, which was a domestic violence prevention bill. The second was the Red Flag Bill, which allows intervention towards individuals who pose a significant danger to themselves or someone else because of firearm possession. The third was a Ghost Gun Bill. This bill bans ghost guns, which don't require a background check and don't have serial numbers. And then just last year, we passed the School Safety Act, which we had been working on since 2013, which bans concealed carry of guns in Rhode Island K through 12 schools. We were one of 4 states in the nation that allowed that. Even Texas doesn't allow that. But in Rhode Island, it took us 9 years to pass that bill. And the last one we passed was the straw buyer bill, which prohibits someone from obtaining a gun for someone else who is prohibited from possessing a gun. So this year, we're focusing on a package of 5 bills, and this is where your action can come in, and we'll be doing a letter writing activity after. And the 5 bills we're pushing for this year, we have an assault weapons ban, as well as a high-capacity magazine limit. Both of those bills are bills we've been working on since 2013. We also have 3 other bills that are in that package. One is raising the age to 21 for long gun and ammunition purchase. Another is closing a long gun loophole, because right now in Rhode Island, it's actually legal to be in public with a loaded rifle or shotgun. And we want to make that illegal. And then there's a safe storage bill, which mandates keeping your guns locked up in your home. So those are our 5 bills that we're really pushing hard as a package. And we are currently an all volunteer-run organization, so every bit and piece that people like you, volunteers and members, can and are willing to do makes a big difference. It is a grassroots movement for sure. We have monthly organizational meetings, which are by Zoom now. Hopefully it'll be in person soon. Attending those is helpful to learn more about what we're doing and learn ways you can be active. We have people who testify at the State House, people writing letters to the editor or to the Providence Journal. And then what we'll be doing today is writing letters to your state representative or state senator, either thanking them for being a champion for gun violence prevention or encouraging them to support this package of 5 bills. So we'll be doing that. The great news is that in the legislature right now, we have 36 representatives and 22 senators who we endorsed in the 2020 elections. So we have a majority there, but not all of them are comfortable, or comfortable is not the right word, but are advocates for what we do. And so we really need all those people and more to really advocate for this effort to make change happen. And we know with change in states that have stronger gun laws, there is less gun violence, and that's critical for all of us. So afterwards, we will be working on that. I'll be there to help people, and we'll look up your senators or representatives if you're not sure if we've endorsed them, and we'll be happy to do that. And I also just want to acknowledge the speakers earlier today, and thank you for your important work and everything that you do on a daily basis to help with this epidemic. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that framework and for sharing. Now, actually, anything that can be done to reduce gun violence will mediate and reduce suffering, will also affirm the worth and dignity of all people. And I think that is a good foundation for us. It's what we accept. The affirmation of human dignity is kind of where our power is. And my sense is that that's not just a nice thing to talk about on Sunday morning, right? It's something that we really believe. Further, I think it's one of the core structures, one of the foundational features, part of the architecture of being a human being is understanding and expressing that. Now if we don't address it, there is some wounding to our humanity. And when we do that, it doesn't matter who the person is that we're relating to. It doesn't matter how we express worth and dignity. What's important is that we do it, and that is where, again, where our motivation is. An example of this structural kind of metaphor is there are other things that are part of the architecture of humanity. Communication, right? We talk. Communication is what we do. And it requires language. But the language doesn't matter. I mean, the language is a gift that you get from your community. And one language isn't better than the other. What's important is it's the one you understand and you communicate with. So the core structure is communication. The language, it depends. It changes. But it doesn't negate the core notion. So, using this framework, the language that we use and the ideas and the thoughts that we're sharing is not as important as our belief and our sense of worth and dignity. That's the power of our communication. And as a matter of fact, we can present this as a kind of non-zero-sum conversation. Human dignity is something that we all could agree on. How to achieve it? Well, that's a part of our discussion. And we are going to offer our thoughts, beliefs, and ideas as how this is accomplished. The sacredness and inestimable value of each human being is not something that is negotiable. So how do we get there? Well, I'm suggesting that my specific ideas are good, but that's not where the answer is. I've talked with many people who have really good ideas and are really committed to their ideas, and that's good, except that often they tell me the story. Well, we should accomplish this particular gun safety bill for a number of reasons, and they usually end with saying, well, you know what, it's a no-brainer. Well, yeah, it's a no-brainer for you and me because we think alike. The problem is that we're going to be talking with people, legislators, friends, neighbors, who don't think the way we do. And possibly, sometimes, the best we could do is in giving an honest, forthright presentation, is to create ambivalence on their part. Because, remember, you and your presence is far more important than your ideas. Now, they come together, but it's your presence that is primary. So, I would like you to think of communication and interaction as a multi-layered interpersonal event. We have a tendency to see our moments of conversation as being connected with our thoughts and words, right? Actually, what's interesting is the root of the word conversation. It's rooted in the Latin for journeying with or turning with. So there's a whole other level. The being with level is something we sometimes simply don't see. It's not all about words. It's also about how we are present when we're communicating, when we're conversing. Because if you travel with, of course, we're going to talk, right? But the being present is an important piece. Now, I recommend advocacy through peaceful presence, and that's a mix of confidence in our foundational principles and a commitment to our core values and an element of vulnerability. Vulnerable people are non-threatening, right? We're safe. So whatever conversation, be it a letter, a march, there is power in peaceful presence. Now, that may sound paradoxical. If the idea of advocacy is kicking in somebody's door, well, actually, that has not been our legacy over the years. In fact, if you check the historical record, and you may look at the Projo archives, You will find no evidence over the years of boisterous mob of agitated Unitarians attacking the State House. Doesn't happen. We're not the riot type. We're the calm, peaceful, committed we're passionate. We're not Stoics, we're Unitarians. The commitment is important. Now, several years ago, I had the privilege of meeting Elie Wiesel. He spoke of the value and importance of being a witness, and I very much appreciate that there were our neighbors who came forward to talk about their witnessing violence in their lives. When Elie would talk about the event in his life, when he was a 6-year-old boy. And he would tell the story where he and his family were taken to a concentration camp. His family was taken away from him. And he was a very charismatic individual. And he would tell the story as if he were that 6-year-old boy. And the thing that bothered him the most was he wanted to say goodbye to his little sister, but he couldn't. Now, Elie then adds that he tells the story because he's a witness, and he believes that being a witness gives him some degree of responsibility to share, to address, to share not just the story, but in a way that addresses the horror and the pain. And he says that he feels that a witness has that responsibility and obligation. And then he adds, a witness to a witness is a witness. Today, we are witnesses. Amen.
With gratitude for all that we have learned today, and knowledge that we have been warmed by fires we did not build, we have drunk at wells we did not dig, and we have gathered in fellowship in this space that is far older than any of us assembled. But it is this space and this community that we create, and we recreate anew each time we come together. So today we pass our collection baskets to make a community expression of thanks for our many blessings, all we learned today, and for all those we have witnessed and those who have yet to come. The morning offering for the work of the congregation will now be generously given and gratefully received. As always, thank you for all that you give, all that you do, and all that you are. like to share some invitations for ways to support and participate in the life of this congregation. First, the church office would like us to know the tax statements for contributions in 2021 were sent by email in mid-January. If you didn't see yours, or if you'd like a printed copy, please call the church office and speak to Walter or Nancy. Members of the Realm Users Group will be available after worship to help with login issues for our new communications directory tool. You can find them in the office. Or you can see Jen Nardone if you'd like to have your picture uploaded to your profile online. We are grateful for Reverend Gene and his help in getting us to think about gun safety and what we can do as citizens, and for the folks that he brought with him today, who made such a powerful witness about their own experiences and about this issue in our own community. The Legislative Ministries team is now sponsoring a letter writing session after the worship in the parish hall. You can find out who your representative is, you can get the facts, and you can see examples of letters that you could send yourself. Even if you can't stay for a long time, you can pick up the information and some sample letters, and it would be really helpful to their efforts if we all were able to do that. Finally, don't forget that the first few times is the way we communicate in this congregation. It's an email newsletter that comes out every Friday, and it's important for everyone to read it. So now let us go forth to enjoy the beauty of this day with gratitude for this beloved community and appreciation for the opportunities we've been given to find meaning and support and connection with one another. Today especially, may we find the strength and courage to be the peace that we wish to see in the world.
Go into your day with open hearts, unafraid of surprise, open to wonder, and always, always, always share your gifts with one another. Amen.
And now, please join me in saying the chalice extinguishing words. We carry the flame of peace and love and hope until we meet again.